world moves fast. Your workday? Even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Your favorite local grocery stores like Kroger, Ralph's, Fred Meyer, and more are now delivering on Uber Eats. Get 40% off your order of fresh, quality ingredients. Whether you just got home to an empty fridge or suddenly got a craving to whip up something new, you can get everything you need delivered in as little as 25 minutes. Get 40% off your order with code Kroger2026. Plus, members get $0 delivery fees. Order now on Uber Eats. Orders of $30 or more save up to $25. Ends 4/30/26. See app for details.
British Spy Stories Season 6 Counter-Strike.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you stuck staring at your W-2? Are tax refund worries holding you back? You probably have FOMO, the fear of messing up. The fix? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. It's time to overcome your fear of messing up and get your taxes done right. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Episode 11. It's dawn over Europe. The blackness of the night sky starts to gain flecks of red, orange, and yellow as the day is dragged out of the horizon. In Prague, Inessa is dreaming. She is walking on a beach with her husband. After all this is over, she looks at him, and he's the young man she met on that sunny Tuesday in June over 30 years ago. The sound of banging starts somewhere inland away from the shoreline. The banging is insistent. It won't stop. It's getting louder. Then she wakes. The banging is someone at her bedroom door. "Madam." Veronica's voice is a mix of urgency and fear. Inessa leans up on one elbow. "Come in, Veronica." "Madam, we need to leave." "What are you talking about? Why are you waking me at this hour? We need to leave immediately." Her dark eyes are even darker in the half-light. "I'm not leaving immediately, my girl. Have some respect. We're a well-to-do family. You need to tell me what has happened, not start barking orders." Veronica pauses. She wasn't expecting this response. Her voice has lost its power now. "I apologize, madam. What has happened?" Inessa swings her feet onto the carpet and pulls on a satin robe that was lying on the bed covers. "Your husband called me." "My husband called you?" Inessa's voice still shows her irritation. "Why didn't he call me?" Veronica can't think of an answer, and Inessa frowns at the young woman. "What did he say?" "That you and your daughter must leave the house. We'll take you to a new place." "Where?" "He didn't tell me. Samuel's on his way here. He knows." Inessa's face, already screwed up in confusion, screws up further. "We're not going anywhere until I speak to my husband." To Inessa's surprise, Veronica nearly shouts. "He'll kill me, madam, please." "Who?" "Samuel." "Why would Samuel kill you?" "He works for your husband." "You've lost me," says Inessa. "Look, I and my husband are in charge of this family. Both of us together, not just him. It's not the 1800s anymore. A wife is not a chattel, like in the past. He's never ordered me around, and he's not going to start now." Veronica suddenly looks paler and weaker than the boisterous version of herself from a minute ago. Inessa looks at the young woman's face as she thinks. This is what's going to happen, she says. How long until Samuel gets here? 2 or 3 hours. He had a gun. Do you know where that is? The girl nods silently. Take me to it. They leave the room and Veronica walks up the stairs to the top floor of the house, where there are rooms for staff. She leads Anessa to the end of the corridor and into a small rectangular bedroom. The ceilings here slope down from one side, as the roofline cuts across to a small window. Veronica pushes her hand under the mattress of a single bed and produces the Grash handgun that Samuel had been waving around when he chased after Maxime. Mrs. Orlova holds out her hand, and the young woman gives her the gun. Inessa displays dexterity as she checks the magazine. Has he got more rounds? She says. Can you use a gun, madam? Veronica looks relieved, for the first time in 10 minutes, as she fishes around under the bed for a box of bullets. All partners of SVR agents are trained to use firearms as self-defense, Veronica. I take it that you know my husband works for the security service? Yes, madam, she says, with a look that Inessa can't assess. They walk back down to the first floor and Lydia is awake now, padding along the corridor and looking sleepy. When she sees the gun in her mother's hand, she is jolted further into consciousness. What's that for, Mama? We're leaving, Liddy, this morning. I knew we were going sometime, says the daughter. It's different now. Anessa looks around at Veronica, then back to her daughter. We 3 are leaving on our own. Madam, those are my terms, Veronica. The mother sounds as clear as the light, now cutting through the upstairs floors of the house. We'll all shower, dress and pack. Veronica, you make breakfast. What is the time? Veronica looks at her watch. Nearly 6, madam. We'll leave at 8. Not a minute later, I'll drive. We'll take the Aurus. Where are we going? Says Lydia. You'll find out, both of you. Now move. And the women will spring into action. In Wiltshire, Tom has had another restless night. He moves in the bed, and it wakes Lara. She rolls over to look at the bedside clock. It's only 5, she says. Can't you sleep? He doesn't answer, but slides his arm under her and pulls her back towards him. She turns her head and they kiss. Then they make love in the light of the dawn. She lays against him as her breathing returns to normal. What's the matter? She says. You're worried, aren't you? Would you ever want to live somewhere else? Would you? You love it here. It's the best tank regiment in the country. You've always said it's your dream life. He breathes out, but says nothing. Has the baby made you think differently? She says. No, it's not that. What then? She scans his eyes, looking for the answer. Maybe there are other lives we could lead. Away from here. I don't understand, Tom. Don't start rocking our boat. Not with a baby coming. I need stability. I don't want to go around the world with a newborn. It would just be another military base somewhere. Our life wouldn't change. You'd like Cyprus. My mum's in the UK. I'll need her once the baby's born. Tom's phone buzzes on the bedside table, and he unwraps his arm to reach out and pick up the device. The blue light casts across his face, and he frowns. What is it? Today's 5 p.m., he says, using the British Army slang for a 5-paragraph order, the day's agenda from a senior officer. Bad news? I'm on the Challenger 4. You used to be excited when you got to test new kit, she says. Now you look scared. He breathes out. Talk to me, she whispers, willing him to be more open. It's fine, He sounds frustrated now. He gets up and uses the bathroom, then slips downstairs. Tom opens a wooden box next to the television that they use to store DVDs. He carefully removes the discs, then pulls at one corner of the base to reveal a false bottom in the box. The mobile phone that was given to him by Adrik Vesna, the chief engineer of the Russian tank factory in the Urals, is under the wood. He pulls it out, powers it up, and types, "It's today," onto the keys. Then he presses send. Immediately Tom walks into the kitchen, finds bleach, and pours it over the phone in the sink. As the sodium hypochlorite eats into the metal and the plastic, he dons a supermarket plastic bag on his hand to use as a glove. He carefully wraps the phone in the bag, then dumps it in the dustbin outside. As he turns back to the house, he jumps slightly as Lara is standing and watching him from the back door. "What you doing out here?" she says. "Chucking something in the bin. It was smelling in the kitchen. Must have been the fish we had." He tries to be casual but finds it difficult. Then he pushes past her and disappears into the house. Lara stays leaning against the back door frame and looks at the dustbin, wondering why he's acting so oddly at the moment. She walks over and lifts the lid, then unwraps the bag that's right at the top. She can see the mobile phone inside, and she can smell the bleach, and she wonders if there's another woman in her husband's life. Lara gingerly picks up the bag, goes to the shed at the bottom of the garden, and pushes the bag behind the old set of drawers they used to have in the bedroom. She shuts the door to the shed and walks back inside the house. She needs to do something. She's not putting up with this sort of crap from him. Something's going to change. But Tom's never going to do it. That's up to her. In Forte dei Marme on the Italian coast, the slightest noise in the Orlov family's summer residence wakes Maxim. He lies perfectly still, his eyes flicking around the bedroom, watching for the first rays of today's sun push a narrow strip of light onto the wall opposite the window. He listens, not wanting to breathe, in case he misses anything. Then he hears it again. Someone is downstairs. Maxim gets up and pulls on his jeans and trainers and his t-shirt from yesterday. In the wardrobe he finds his scouting knife that he was given on his 14th birthday. He stuffs it into the back of his belt and moves out to the hall. As he treads down the stairs, he makes no noise. But he can hear the intruder clattering about in the kitchen. Maxim stands against the wall next to the kitchen doorway. His heart is beating out of his chest, so much he can feel it in his throat. He waits in the shadows. The intruder's phone starts to ring, and they answer it. "I can't talk now. I'm in the middle of something." "Yes. Yes, of course. I love you too." The man rings off, and Maxim knows the voice. He steps out from his hiding place. "Papa," he says, and his father turns quickly with a shocked look on his face. "Maxim, what are you doing here?" "I came to find you." "You barely spoke to me in Prague," says his father. "I want to understand what's going on." "Does your mother know you're here?" "Liddy would have told her," says the boy. His eyes flick across the items his father has collected together from the house and that he's stuffing into a canvas army bag on the counter. "What you doing, Papa? What are all these things for?" "I'm leaving in a few minutes." "Is someone chasing you?" "Yes." His father's eyes turn to his son as he considers how to explain what is happening. "Someone's on my tail, someone dangerous." "Who?" Alexei ignores the question. You need to go back to Prague, and your mother. You all need to stay together until this is over. No. It's the first time Maxim has said that word to his father, and it makes Alexei stop his packing and look at the boy again. I'm staying here. I'm 18, Papa. I'm a man now. You can't order me around any longer. The father looks at the boy's face. He wants to say something fundamental, something the boy will remember for the rest of his life. Alexei smiles, and his voice is quieter. You grew up while I wasn't looking. You should have been looking, Papa. Why are you running? Says Maxim. What did you do? That story of sleeping with a woman and leaking secrets was made up, wasn't it? What makes you say that? Because I know that Mama means more to you than anything in the world. You're more likely to be a traitor to Russia than be a traitor to Mama. I'll tell you one day, says Alexei. Once all this is over. Stop saying that. Stop saying your propaganda. You don't know what's going to happen. I can cope with the real truth, not the truth you want me to believe. Alexei's words are slow now. It's better not to know some things. You'll realize that when you grow up. The morning air hangs thickly between them, across the 6 feet of the kitchen. Then the family moment is shattered by the sound of the bell at the front gate. Alexei turns to a video monitor and peers at the screen. He says nothing but moves more quickly to stuff the last few items of clothing and food into the bag. Who's at the gate? Says Maxim. I'm going over the fence at the back. Alexei walks to him and is going to pat the boy on the shoulder, then leans in and kisses him on both cheeks. Look after your mother and sister. I will be back for all of you. His father unbolts the back door and slips away. Maxim walks to the lounge and watches Alexei run to the end of the garden and around the corner of one of the white square outbuildings that border their land. He imagines his father jumping up and over one of the crumbling sections of the back wall and maybe finding a car that he left in Via Giacomo Matteotti that runs along behind their land. Then he imagines him driving away. Maxim walks back to the kitchen to see if the man has gone from the front gate. But what he does see is a man running across the front garden towards the house. He can feel his panic rising. There are other cameras in the grounds, and he flicks the controls on the panel to see where the man is going, but there's no sign of him now. He walks through the house, looking for any signs of the intruder. What was that in the shadows? He turns, but there's nothing. Or there. No. Then the sound of the back door opening makes him nearly cry with fear. His father had left it unlocked. The intruder runs into the hallway, and Maxim can see that he's not much older than himself. He moves his hand to grasp his scout knife that he stuffed into the back of his belt. But it's gone. It must have fallen out somewhere. The boy runs at him, and his hands are on each side of Maxim's head. The boy pulls and drags Maxim by the neck until his mind is swimming with confusion. The boy is strong, and Maxim can feel he is losing the battle. He manages to get a grip and pulls the boy to the ground. But the boy is up immediately and pushes Maxim against the kitchen door. The edge of the lock grinds out a deep gash of red on Maxim's skin, and he can feel the pain in his arm. He's not going to give up. Maxim finds violence from inside him and throws all of his weight against the blue-eyed boy until his face smashes into the door frame and they are both showered with the boy's blood. The boy falls again. Maxim kicks now, still digging deep inside him, to defend and attack. The boy struggles to stand under the rain of blows, and Maxim stops his attack when the boy's face is covered in blood. The boy tries to fight back, but he's weaker now. His thrusts and parries lack the power they had. The boy staggers to his feet and crashes into the wall. Maxim can only watch the result of the damage he has created. The boy turns, grunting, as the pain rolls through him. Then he runs off through the kitchen. All Maxim's brain can think is, "Don't die in here." Maxim doesn't move. He hears the kitchen door slam against the wall and watches the boy disappear around the corner. His chest heaves as his breaths gasp for more oxygen inside him. Maxim's eyes are fixed on the back door and the last view of his victim. He doesn't know what he's thinking at first. Then a high tide of ideas crashes into his mind. After a moment, he says out loud,
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney+.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
Gary the Snake.
And your last name?
The Snake.
Dream Team. New habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home. Zootopia 2, now available on Disney+, rated PG. And right now you can get Disney+ and Hulu for just $4.99 a month for 3 months with a special limited time offer. Ends March 24th. After 3 months, plan auto-renews at $12.99 a month. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Alexa Plus. Say hello to Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do more for you. Need tickets to that last-minute show? Craving your favorite restaurant? Sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. Alexa learns your preferences to create a personalized experience. And now, Alexa Plus is free with Prime on your Amazon devices, like Echo and Fire TV. Learn more at amazon.com/Alexa Plus.
"Look what I did, Papa." Down his arm, the blood is still seeping from the gash in his flesh. It runs down his fingers until it falls onto the Italian floor tiles of the hallway. His head feels dizzy now, and he shuts his eyes. Then he collapses on the floor. Episode 12. The clock in the operations room at Tidworth Camp shows 1 minute to 8 in the morning. Captains Tom Beecham and Rob Lee are waiting. "Shame about that girl," says Rob. "The brunette." He refers to Agent Loxby. "You're well out of it, mate," says Tom. "I wouldn't trust her. She's only out for herself." The door opens and Colonel Andy Moore and his second-in-command, Lieutenant Colonel Adrian Ragland, walk in. "Morning, Beecham, Lee." The captains salute. "You've seen your 5PO, says Moore. "Questions?" "Are the trackers on the Challenger 4 live, sir?" Moore looks at Ragland, who nods. "They are, Beecham. Why'd you ask?" "Just wanted to be aware, sir. They were off last time, then on the time before that." "They're on today, Beecham." "Sir." "Slight change for you, Captain Lee," says Ragland. "The CO and I want you to play cat and mouse with Beecham to test the ability of the new Challenger 4 tank to work covertly on the battlefield. You're in the Warrior IVF." He refers to the standard British Army infantry fighting vehicle. "Your orders in today's exercise are to stage a surprise attack on Beecham's tank." "Yes, sir." Tom's heart is already beating hard under his battle dress. The two captains leave the ops room and walk to where the crews are waiting. There are 7 other tanks and support vehicles lined up, ready for the exercise. The vehicles fire up and move out to the Royal Tank Regiment's training area to the northwest of Tidworth, in a cloud of diesel and dust, as the tracks bite into the dirt. Each of the vehicle commanders in the exercise has specific actions to follow to recreate fighting conditions that the men and the vehicles would come across in war. Tom leads an assault on 2 Challenger 2 tanks on one of the abandoned groups of buildings in the training area. This land was requisitioned by the military years ago and has a scattering of ghost villages and homes that are now at the mercy of continual attack. Inside the small compartment where the tank commander sits, Tom has stowed 2 items as he had been instructed to do by Adric Vesna. The first is a standard issue military gas mask. The second had been sent by courier to his home address and is a circular steel canister, no more than 10 centimeters long. At one end is a sealed button. He knows what this is because inhalant gas weapons were part of his training in Moscow under Colonel Golovkin when he was a teenager. After the first exercise, Tom reckons there's time to reach the grid reference where the tank is to be dissembled, so he directs his driver to steer the Challenger 4 to an abandoned farm near the village of Lower Early on the western edge of the military area. The driver approaches the farm and brings the tank to a halt. Tom reaches down and pulls out the gas mask and the canister. He tears the seal off the button and his finger hovers over the detonator. "Enemy attack, sir," says the driver suddenly. It's Captain Lee's surprise maneuver. "Take evasive action, Marshal, up in that woodland." "Sir." The Challenger 4 grinds its way over the earth at speed, with Lee's Warrior tracked vehicle in pursuit. "Prefer to fire," says Tom to his crew. The men work the equipment inside the tank and the turret spins around to point backwards as they accelerate. "Enemy in the sight, sir. Engage, Jameson." Blank shells fire. On the radio, Captain Lee reports fictional damage over the course of the 5-minute chase across the countryside. But the Warrior is closing the gap. "Marshal, accelerate away from the enemy." The men follow his commands. "Engage." More blanks fire. The radio crackles with Lee's voice. "You've hit our main drive shaft, Tom. Well done." The operations controller broadcasts to say that there'll be a break for 45 minutes before this afternoon's exercise, and that Captain Lee is to change vehicles. Lee turns his Warrior IVF east, and the tracks grind away into the distance. Tom directs his driver to return to the location where Adric Vesna had told him to go. Only now does he realize that he's still tightly grasping the gas canister in his fingers. The tank stops. Tom pulls on his gas mask and presses the detonator. The interior of the Challenger 4 is instantly filled with white gas, and the crew start to cough and shout. There's chaos for 10 seconds, then gradually the gas gets into the men's lungs, and after 30 seconds, they are all silent and unconscious. Tom jumps out from his commander's position and moves far enough away from the tank to be out of range of the gas. Then he pulls off his mask and waits in the Wiltshire sunshine, and a faint breeze blows the white smoke across the ground near the stationary Challenger 4. Within another 30 seconds, 3 military jeeps appear around the corner of the road. Tom recognizes Adric Vesna sitting in the front passenger seat of the first vehicle. As the jeeps arrive, Vesna orders his men to open the doors of a large barn in the middle of a group of farm buildings nearby. He walks to Tom. "Drive it in there." The man points to the barn. Tom can feel his anger and shame battling for supremacy inside his head, and he wants to pull his arm back and hit Vesna squarely on the jaw, but doesn't because he thinks about Lara and their future together. "We'll need to get the lads out," he says. "They're unconscious." Vesna directs 2 of his team to help Tom prise the driver, gunner, and loader from their spaces inside the vehicle and lay them down in a coppice at the end of the farmyard. Tom fires up the Challenger 4 and moves it inside the barn. As he jumps out, Vesna's engineers descend on the vehicle like beetles, each with their own instructions for the one section of the vehicle that they will dismantle. He walks over to where Vesna is standing, watching his engineers at work. They're the best there is, Dmitri. My men are experts, each one a specialist in military tank construction. One of the men approaches Vesna and hands him a green metal box, the size of a cigarette packet, with 4 wires coming from it, and screw terminals at the end of each. Vesna turns to Tom and holds out the box to him. Take this and put it near your men. It's the vehicle transponder. By the time your commanding officers realize the tank is gone, and they send out people to trace it, they'll only find the men and this box. He smiles with his one blue eye, but his blind eye doesn't move. After 34 minutes, Tom is surprised at how much of the tank has been separated into liftable sections. A forklift truck with tracks to cope with the uneven ground of the barn has started to load parts of the tank into the back of 2 44-ton trailers, parked near the end wall. Tom turns to Vesna. I need to go. Don't contact me again. We've got what we came for. There'll be no need for me to talk to you further. Vesna pauses. Unless something goes wrong. Like I said, don't contact me again. I spoke to Major Illin, says Vesna. I told him about your rudeness. You don't behave like a Russian, Dmitri. That girl of yours, is she worth it? Tom moves with a speed that surprises them both. The fingers on his right hand wrap around Vesna's throat. He wants to say a number of things to this man, but he knows it won't make any difference, because he sees no fear in Vesna's eyes. Only the resolute gaze of someone utterly certain of their position. And Tom relaxes his hand. Take this too, says Vesna. This is the second canister to use on yourself, so you can pretend that you're not a traitor to England. The silver tube passes between the men. The radio strapped to Tom's battle dress is suddenly alive, with the voice of one of the operations control staff. Captain Beecham, 10 minutes until resume. Over? He looks at Vesna. I hope you're good at pretending that everything is fine, Dmitri. Tom walks out of the barn until he is near his men at the edge of the trees. Acknowledged, Ockon, he says into his radio. Tom sits in the sun on the grass, wishing he was anywhere else but here. Beecham, over. It's Rob Lee on the radio. Go ahead, Lee. We're coming to you. We've got an exercise down where you are at Bravo 9. He uses the code name for the location where Tom is sitting. We're on our way. Negative, Captain Lee. Delay your departure. What's happening? Over? Tom's mind rolls around like an injured dog, trying to think of what to say. We've got a med event here, 10 Mike. He uses the army slang for one of the men is unwell, and it will be at least 10 minutes before they can restart. Acknowledged, says Lee on the radio. Across the farmyard, Tom can see some of the engineers from Vesna's team re-emerge into the daylight, as their section of the tank has been isolated and loaded onto the trailers. Vesna comes out too, and tells some of them to take a jeep and go. Tom walks across and looks into the darkness of the barn. He can see the forklift raising the last pieces of the Challenger 4 into the second trailer, and the men swinging the doors closed before the drivers start the engines of the trucks and move out to the country lane on the other side of the barn. The last 3 engineers run out, and Vesna tells them to get into the last jeep. Goodbye, Dmitri. He holds out his hand to shake, but Tom ignores it and turns away with no words. He lies down near his men and holds the second canister in his hand. He flicks the safety catch off and presses the trigger. He throws the canister into the trees and lets the smoke drift towards him, then puts his head on the grass, closes his eyes, and takes a deep breath in. The windows are open in Colonel Andy Moore's office as Connie Barrett, head of MI5 operations, sits on one of the chairs in front of the desk of the British Tank Regiment's commanding officer. "We need the military police to stand down, Colonel," she says. "The Challenger 4 is a national security issue, as defined by the Official Secrets Act 1989, Section 2. "I'm aware, Miss Barrett." She continues, needing to impress upon this man that she is in charge now. "We have resources on the way to lead the investigation." "I need to be across everything," he says, smiling. "That can only be up to your level of security clearance, Colonel, which is up to and including information classified as secret. Most of the work here will be top secret, I'm afraid." There's a knock on the door. "Come," calls Moore, and Loxby pushes the door open. "What's the latest?" says Connie to her. "Two of the crew have regained consciousness, but the commander and the driver are still under. Has anyone interviewed them?" "My medical officer has asked for a recovery period before you trample in," says Moore. Connie smiles beautifully. "We don't trample anywhere, Colonel." She turns back to Loxby. "What about the crime scene?" "There's an MI5 forensics team down there. The site's been isolated and they're collecting samples, fibres and DNA." "We'll need to see the crew's personal files, Colonel," says Connie, holding his gaze. He pulls his eyebrows together. "They've all been vetted. My men are all 100% solid." Connie waits, then says, "From my experience of overseeing incidents of national security like this, Colonel, very rarely does an attack purely come from the outside, no matter how much we think our own people are reliable. The statistics show that security damage has some sort of insider involvement for 68% of the time." "I get that," he says, "but these are trained soldiers, experienced in battle, not some civil service clerk who sells the personal information about the Prime Minister to a bloke in the pub." Connie pauses to let his anger dissipate. Technically speaking, Connie outranks Colonel Moore because as the head of MI5 operations, she's the equivalent of a brigadier, one rank higher. But she decides not to mention that yet. "I can tell the Home Secretary of your utmost cooperation, can't I, Andy?" There's a moment when the three of them just look at each other. Then Colonel Moore says, "We're all interested in finding this tank urgently and bringing it back here." She smiles insincerely and turns to Loxby. "Give me updates on the crew every hour, please." "Yes, ma'am." Loxby turns back the way she came, drops down the stairs and pushes the door to the outside. She can see 3 golf carts parked against the wall for officers to move about the camp. She jumps on the first one and is about to start the motor when she sees Lara running across the service road from the car park and heading this way. As she gets nearer, Loxby can see the woman is in a bad state. "They only just told me," she says. "It was my day off and no one even bloody told me my husband nearly died out there. It's been busy, sorry. I should have texted you. Did you know he was hurt?" says Lara. Loxby's deep cover status was officially ended by Connie Barrett an hour ago to allow her to work on the MI5 investigation. "Lara, I'm with MI5. "What?" It makes the woman stop. "MI5. We're investigating the incident. All I've been told is that Tom was gassed. Did something else happen? I can't tell you, I'm sorry, says Luxby. You just need to be there to support Tom when he wakes up. Why did you pretend to be a secretary? Says Lara. We even had that evening in the mess. You didn't say anything. I couldn't. Tom said he thought you were nosy. That explains it. Were you investigating us? What else did he say? Says Luxby. Lara shakes her head. Has he been acting suspiciously? Lara has always lied badly, and she hopes this time it comes across better than in the past. No, he's just normal, she says. He's worried about the baby. Was he unhappy about being a father? Just normal stress of life, you know. Has he done anything recently that doesn't make sense to you? Changed his daily routine or started hiding things from you? Lara can't help swallowing. No. She opens her eyes wider. He's honest. He wouldn't. She stops. Wouldn't what? Luxby looks directly at her, and a breeze blows a few strands of wispy hair across Lara's face as she brushes them away. He wouldn't lie. Everyone lies to make people feel better, to shield them from bad news. Luxby pauses, then adds, or to cover something up. Lara can't think of anything to say. Is he covering something up? Because you need to tell us if he is? I know you're loyal, but sometimes loyalty gets stretched so far that it snaps. If he's got himself into something dodgy, you need to tell me. Before it's too late. Before you get hurt. The women stand opposite each other. The hunter and the hunted. Then Lara says, There's something I need to tell you.
Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
Don't chew on that, Max.
Cooper loves that chew too.
Oh, now he's into Cooper's food. Wow, he is loving it. What do you feed Cooper?
Blue Buffalo Life Protection Formula. He never leaves a crumb. I love it because it's made with high-quality protein, nutrient-rich fruits and veggies, and wholesome whole grains.
Looks like we're switching to Blue.
Blue Buffalo foods are made with the superior ingredients your dog needs to thrive. Can your dog food say that? Visit feedbluefood.com to learn more.